Mai Kamara has played more minutes than any runner this season. Carlos Almendarez, the senior midfielder. And up top, Rene Cortez rounding out the starters for the Bakersfield. So away we go. Glad to have you with us on this Saturday evening. The Runners and the Highlanders meeting for the 11th all-time matchup. Runners leading it 7 wins, 1 loss, and 2 ties all-time. Last time these two teams met at home, though, here at the main soccer field, the Runners prevailed 2-0 back in 2017. Just FYI, I can still hear you guys talking to each other. Connor Walsh, one of the 4 seniors, or not one of the seniors, but he has a senior-like presence is how the team describes him in the starting lineup, making his 14th start for the Runners. That's one of the biggest compliments you can pay to a guy like that. There's Marcano. UC Riverside coming off a tie against Cal State Fullerton. They tied 1-1. Here come the Runners. This is an opportunity for Jimenez as his shot knocked away. Talked about the offensive struggles for UC Riverside. Cal State Bakersfield has also struggled to score, just 9 goals on the season. There's Stefan Marcano. Runners operating in a 7-1-2 formation, certainly defensive-minded one. That's going to barely sneak past the back line in the hands of Carlos Gonzalez, the junior goalkeeper out of Santa Ana. 16th start and appearance for the junior out of Mater Dei High School, averaging just 1.5 goals allowed per outing on the pitch, one of the better marks in the Big West Conference. A lot is certainly on the line for UC Riverside in the standings, still competing and vying for a top 6 spot. Unfortunately, for the Runners, they're going to miss out on the postseason for the first time since 2018, as that's a ball played past the back line on the one hop. An excellent save by Dodone, using the outstretched arms to just punch it wide. A good shot attempt by Oscar Penate, the senior out of Watts, California, the 12th start for the senior. He'll receive his flowers next Saturday when the Highlanders wrap up their regular season against the Gauchos of UCSB in what should be high-powered and entertaining match. It's Hernandez. Penate on the diagonal run, knocked away by Connor Walsh. 6'4", 220-pound freshman out of Cork, Ireland. Hard to believe that Walsh came off the bench the first 2 games of the season, because he has started ever since. 14 now consecutive matches. Good control by Badawia. On the foot of Jimenez. Talking to Coach Grant, Runners are just trying to push the pace a little bit more. Again, it's certainly difficult in the formation that they're operating, but trying to be a little bit more aggressive. Again, for the seniors, this is obviously a significant match, their final home match here at the main soccer field. So they're playing with a sense of purpose. And talking to the Highlander coaching staff, they kind of echoed a similar urgency, understanding, hey, this is the senior night for these guys as well. We have to make sure that we're just as sharp and locked in out of the gates as they are. 50-50 won by the Highlanders. This could be promising if they can push it up quickly. They've got numbers on the foot of Noah Lopez and Penate. Hernandez keeps it on the ground to Joel Rivera. Pressing up from the back line, looking to streak it to the middle. Runners do a nice job to snuff that possession out. Defense has never been the issue for Cal State Bakersfield all season. They've only allowed 23 goals on the year, about 1.5 goals per contest. But only 2 times have they allowed over 2 goals, and the reason why it looks a little bit skewed and inflated perhaps when you see the 1.5 goals allowed per contest is because of a couple lopsided losses along the way. 4-2 loss to Pacific earlier in the year, and a 3-0 loss to San Francisco. Juan Pablo Alvarez. Jimenez, the little speedster, such a great ball handler. Runners trying to control the line of scrimmage. Highlanders led by coach Tim Capello in his 9th season at the helm, took over in 2014, was initially an assistant coach back in 2010, was given the opportunity to assume the interim head coaching role in 2013 and was promoted fully in 2014. But he's helped guide this program and develop 7 MLS players.
Easy note, yep. Don't let him out, Easter. Don't let him out. Easter, step. Come on, Noah. Come on, Noah.
Cross. Push up a little bit, little higher. Right there.
Go on.
Walsh will play it on the ground to Shamai Kamara. Quick first touch. Gets it through the defender and now knock off of his shoulder. Cleared well by Freymar Omerson, the senior out of Iceland. Entering this contest for Omerson, he has played 8 consecutive 90-minute matches, which is the longest active streak on the Highlander team. Pablo Alvarez downing with the switch. Bryson Hankins is not getting the start tonight. Snaps a streak coming in. He had started in 13 of the 15 previous matches. Of course, he received a questionable red card earlier in the year against UC San Diego. Forced him to miss the following matchup at UC Davis that the Runners lost narrowly 2-1. Throwing for UC Riverside in the attacking third. They've controlled the possession so far for the first 9 minutes, roughly. Hernandez with a fake. Now drives it in, headed away by Kamara.
We go!
Little bobble that time by Gonzalez. The ground didn't do him any favors. 50-50 again, won by the Highlanders. On the turn is Badawia. Now Penate. Turning on the Jets, Penate. Centering it in, a good first touch on the backhand. Gets under the back line. The lefty shot, it hits the post and controlled by Didane. Boy, excellent ball movement to just get behind the back line. Penate gave it a good whirl and just an unlucky touch and bounce off the side post. The wind certainly picking up a little bit here in Bakersfield. This is the first time that it's actually been remotely chilly. Obviously, the matches in August and September, the temperatures rose to 100, 105 at some points. Today's not the case, in the 70s. Which again, perhaps, depending on where you are watching this from, you may be saying 70 sounds great. I take it for granted. Or perhaps does feel a little bit chilly. Marcano had a good initial touch. Gonzalez boots it away for a Roadrunners throw-in. Cal State Bakersfield still winless in conference play. 0 wins, 6 losses, and 1 tie. They collected both wins earlier in the year in succession against Grand Canyon and then against Gonzaga. Here's Cortez on a turn, looking for Jimenez. Didn't run past the line. Runners playing a little bit tight so far. It's the Highlanders that are playing a little bit freer, looser. Lopez turns the corner, taken on 2. Juan Pablo Alvarez trying to shade him. Lopez shakes him off, centers it in, partially deflected, and here come the runners on the counter with Jimenez, and he coughs it up. But again, the possession still on the feet of the Highlanders. Hernandez softly up ahead. Here's Rivera just outside the 18. Hernandez gets it back to his left foot, bends away. Another good attempt, the second shot attempt for the Highlanders so far in this first half. All 3 shot attempts so far have been delivered by the Highlanders. 0 so far for the runners. Dodone had a phenomenal individual save to keep this a tie game. Cortez, Jimenez. Again, a little bit heavy on the touch. Driven low on the run, a sliding challenge, and no whistle. Vukovic, the sophomore out of Serbia, was close to see whether or not it hit his arm. That's what Coach Grant was hoping for. It was a good timed run by Bilal Mahoubi. Sophomore nearly got behind the back line. He's been one of the X factors for Coach Grant, making a 16th start in appearance for the runners. They've been trying to get him more involved in the offense. Coach Grant has highlighted his explosiveness, especially in practice, just trying to find ways to unlock him a little bit more in these real-time matches. A lot more ball control for the Highlanders, more long through balls. And long balls played up ahead by the runners. That's a well-timed through ball. That'll be controlled, and it's in the penalty area. And this is going to be a PK for UC Riverside. An excellent through ball played up ahead. Lopez was pulled down, or pardon, Badawia was pulled down right when he made his first move on the first touch, the senior out of Riverside. And an excellent run Did a good job getting behind Ian Rios, sophomore out of Napa, California. Opportunity for an early lead for UC Riverside. Hesitation, and it's stopped by Dodone. He guessed it right. Filippo Dodone said, not on my watch. And this stays a level game. Two tremendous individual stops by the junior goalkeeper. That's bending in and headed out of play. Jimenez looking to add the insurance clear. And what an individual defensive sequence again by Filippo Dodone. He's the sole reason why this has stayed a two-shot empty trip for UC Riverside. They've had a couple golden looks. And ironically, that was the first penalty kick attempted by the Highlanders this season. They hadn't earned a penalty kick prior to that. Again, streaking down the side, getting past the line as Rivera had his shot partially blocked on the foot of Hernandez. This defense refusing to break, just showing the elasticity and just bending nearly as far as it can go. Here's Omerson just outside the 18. A strong challenge by Kamara and a throw-in for UCR. Badawia plays at center. Osorio, hounded by Rene Cortez. He's a fiery one. Redshirt sophomore out of Chula Vista. Already 2 goals on the season, including in one of their previous home matches. It's UC San Diego. Provided the tying header in the 80th minute. Down a man. Runners were actually playing the Tritons the entire second half. Down another player, 11-10 for the final 45. Marcano pulls it down for the Runners. Can Cal State Bakersfield exhibit a little bit of patience, play within their circles? Cortez fell down, no whistle. And Vukovic drives it forward. When these two teams met in 2021, the Highlanders prevailed 3-1. It was actually tied 1-1 at the half before UCR pulled away and outscored the Runners 2-0 in the final 45. Nice overlap, sprinting forward. Yamaguchi was looking to play it up ahead. Badawia couldn't control it in time. Dodone has been perhaps a lot more active in the first 19 minutes than the Runners' coaching staff would have ideally liked, though he gives it away. Hernandez plays it. Badawia at the center. Walsh hounding him and bumps him off the ball, but a free kick awarded to UCR. You can see the speed that Issa Badawia, the senior out of Riverside, plays with. He has scored 1 goal in 2 of the last 3 games, so he's really started to come into his own offensively. 12th start, 16th appearance. In fact, played a full 90 minutes against Cal State Fullerton in their last outing. Just the second time all season that he played the full 90. The other outing was against Cal Baptist University. And that's bending, and again off the post. And it caroms away. Boy, it's certainly a game of inches. Issa Badawia with an unfortunate bend on the free kick. Could have said bent it like Badawia instead of bent it like Beckham, but didn't find the back of the net. There's Marcano, double team, still vigorously fighting for it. All the chances have been generated by UC Riverside. You can see 6 shots for the Highlanders, 0 so far for the runners. Jimenez streaking forward is Mahubi on the run. Could this be the chance? Mahubi with the left foot bending away. No one's there in the far post, but it's controlled by Jimenez in the corner. On the foot of Osorio, spins away from Jimenez to avoid the trouble. But that's the lack of patience that we're seeing from Cal State Bakersfield in an instance like that. If you're Mahubi, as Badawia is tripped up again, you almost have to wait until some of the other forwards and midfielders can get up there. Jota Yamaguchi, the senior out of Pompano Beach, Florida, with the left foot, unable to get past the back line. Throw in for UCR.
Hold on. Get a third over there.
You can hear the coaching staff calling for the Highlanders to operate in their triangles. It's the most effective way to advance up the field. Here's Marcano across midfield. He's got a little bit of space in front of him. Well, is it forward to Mahubi? Mahubi back for Marcano, and just sticking out the leg to snuff it out was Adrian Meade Tatum, sophomore out of Palos Verdes, California. 11th start for him. No team has made a substitution thus far as we're 22 minutes into the first half. No score. Didone made 2 incredible saves. One on a counterattack by the Highlanders. He stopped a penalty kick, and then Badawia hit the post. In fact, 2 shots have hit the post today for the Highlanders, but none have actually broken the plane of the goal line. Free kick, that sizzles in, and it takes a wild hop, but controlled by Gonzalez. Almost clubbed a little patch in the dirt that sprung it up. Highlanders operating in no rush. A little bit of inertia on the part of the runners, refusing to just chase some of these defensive backs for UCR and packing it in. Again, they came out in a 7-1-2 formation, did Cal State Bakersfield. So they laid the blueprint. They told the Highlanders what type of formation they would be operating in, opting instead to play a little bit more conservatively. Juan Pablo Alvarez with a good first touch. That's going to deflect off the head of Rivera. Cortez bumped off the spot. Now collides with Baduia. And it's going the other way to UCR. These two teams, two of the more physical teams in the Big West Conference. 27 yellow cards for UC Riverside. Cal State Bakersfield has amassed 36 yellow cards, which is number one in the Big West Conference. So they can play at times with a little reckless abandon. That's part of their identity. That's part of their internal fabric, is the physicality that they take to the pitch with every single time out. Inside 20 minutes to go in the first half. Senior night for the runners. Kamara mistimed his jump.
Get out of there, Joel. Joel, get out of there.
He's got Hernandez, the trailer, bending away from the box and headed for clear. Osario too heavy on the touch. But you just sense this anxiety, certainly palpable and tangible with the fans in attendance today. Every time UC Riverside has the possession, just continually threatening.
Noah! Stay between the center backs! Where are you going? Noah!
Mahubi trying to speed past Omerson. Wisely plays it back for Gonzalez. Those have been the seldom chances, just strong, long balls. And talking to Coach Grant, I asked him, how can you stimulate this offense a little bit? How can you be more dynamic and create more chances? And part of it had to do, he said, with being disciplined on the patterns, on the set pieces, trying to take more chances as Noah Lopez is whistled for the infraction free kick coming to Cal State Bakersfield. Part of it, he said, is controlling the midfield. He's oftentimes highlighted the midfielders like Carlos Almendares to be the metronome, to be the orchestrator, to operate a little bit more quickly on the first touch, as you see Jimenez with a good spin. And that'll hit the arm of Hernandez.
Hey, be ready for it, match up! Unit 3 joining in! Go below, come on! Who we defenders?
Marcano winds up, gives it a go, and it airmails a little over the pipe. It stayed down just a couple feet over the top post. That was the first quality look for Cal State Bakersfield in this first half. So we'll see the first substitution for UC Riverside. Noah Lopez checking out, the sophomore out of Highland, California.
Don't let him switch out. Too low.
Go!
Donate, slight hesitation, good control off the chest by Kamara. Mahubi was leveled in the shoulder and a free kick coming. Personal foul against Fremar Omerson. First team All Big West selection in 2021. Scored one goal that year. Ultimately was the game winner against who? Cal State Bakersfield.
Yeah, but the trainer goes intense, but he doesn't go on the field talking to the center. What's he doing on the field?
And Bilal Mahubi was on the ground laying with his back on the grass for a little bit of time. The trainer tending to him for Cal State Bakersfield. Walsh took his time to take that free kick. Downing, flashing forward, Juan Pablo Alvarez. Highlanders increasing their defensive pressure. Walsh near the sideline. And a substitution for Coach Grant. Atli Stephenson, senior out of Iceland, has started the last 2 games. This is snapping a streak. He's been a bright spot moving forward. Scored his first career goal recently last week at UC Davis. Has played a little bit more aggressively. His father played professionally, won an Icelandic championship in 1989. His mother was an Icelandic volleyball champion. Throughout his family, they're athletes. Armandaris. Good play back for Marcano. Mahubi lofts it, high pointing it's Gonzalez. Off the outside of the foot, well-timed run. Rivera, can he keep it in play? No.
Hey, AJ, push D up and in a bit. Stack him in front of you. AJ, stay left. Stack D up inside in front of you. Now you can slide out.
Here's Ian Reese. And an errant giveaway. Passed that a little hastily. Both of these two teams, in a nutshell, have been a little bit more of a disappointment than they were in 2021. Both exceeded expectations that season. Islanders finished with a winning record, 9-7-3 overall. That's going to stay onside. Badawia battling, controls outside the circle. On the runs, Yamaguchi with the left foot, bending towards the far post and just headed out of play by Shamai Kamara. A strong cross. Good challenge by Harry Downing. Unfortunately, went back to Hernandez. And Reese lost the one-on-one battle in the corner. First corner kick for either side. It'll be taken by the Highlanders. We'll see if they actually cross it into the box or if they keep it on the ground. Drawing 2 runners, defenders. Bending towards the far post. That's a good header, and it just misses. Wide left. That's been the story of the evening for UC Riverside, just knocking on the door, but haven't been able to fully barge in. Again, this is a team that advanced all the way to the Big West semifinals a season ago. They defeated and upsetted Cal Poly, the 3 seed in the first round, 1-0. Hoping to return back to the conference tournament for the 2nd season in a row.
Hey, we're okay. Move on. Moving the ball. That's been working. Get the ball. Don't let him serve it.
Mahubi with a well-timed hop to keep it in play. Stephenson pressing forward. Hernandez with the touch. Rivera brings it down, and Kamara knocks it out of play.
Make it go back. Make it go back.
Two. Beat it up. Give yourself a little more space.
First time in this match, Cal State Bakersfield is starting to limit the touches for UC Riverside, even when they have controlled the possession. Doesn't feel as lopsided in time of possession. That'll be a goal kick for UC Riverside against UC Irvine. That was one of the better wins of the season for them. Brendan Clark scored 2 goals in that outing, which officially became the program's 3rd Division I season with multiple 4-goal matches. Clark headlined that performance. You rarely see these teams score in the upwards of 4. It was a milestone for the UC Riverside program. So much about execution, being clinical in the attacking third is a sentiment that Coach Grant talks about at length. This team, unfortunately, this season just hasn't been quite as disciplined and quite as clean inside the 18. Hernandez calls for it. Bidawea circling around up top. Yamaguchi goes for goal, drives it low with the left foot. That's deflected and now waved off. Penate's shot will not count. First offsides whistle raised by the lead referee, Bernie Hosu. Rest of the officiating crew, Shane Danbelli, David Ramirez, Billy Jennings, and the assessor, Duncan Way, the officiating crew for tonight's match. Inside 10 minutes to go in the first half. Still 0-0. Stephenson trying to get past Omerson, providing a single-man blockade. Couple substitutions preparing to enter for Coach Capello. Couple substitutions for UC Riverside. Alfonso Ramirez is going to check in along with Diago Baptista. Both freshmen getting some action here in Big West Conference play. What a touch by Luka Lukic. Lukic plays it on the ground outside of the circle, gets it back. One hop off the left foot, and it just sizzles over the post. Again, another good look for UC Riverside. But nothing doing. Tremendous effort. Good 1-2 give and go. No chance Dodone could have made a stop on that had it just dipped a little bit below. Marcano was looking for the foul, didn't get it, but retains anyway. Well-timed advance. Marcano keeps it onside inside the box. The trailer. Stephenson's shot sent away. Meade Tatum turned it back defensively for the Highlanders. Flicked forward. Marcano's onside. And got a little too much leg underneath it. But at least a sign of life for Cal State Bakersfield. Now they're starting to play a little bit more confidently. There's been a stark difference between the way this team performs at home versus how they play on the road. They're They're winless on the road this season. Their 2 wins have come at home here at the main soccer field. Nice give and go. Armendariz turning on the Jets, splitting through 2. Armendariz still on the move, gives it a go, and it just drifts awry. Boy, Alexander Vukovic lying on the ground in disbelief, saying, did I let that get past me? Yes, he did. Armendariz just missed the far corner.
Higher. Get behind the stick.
Go, Jacob.
Find the pocket off the shoulder.
Jake, back line.
And Otley Stephenson has done a good job since he's been inserted. Lukic, Baptista. Yamaguchi looking for an angle. Ricochets out of play, and it's a corner for UCR, their second of the contest. So since the runners absorbed that initial offensive onslaught delivered by UCR, in which they outshot the runners 6-0, since then, the runners have flipped the script and have outshot the Highlanders 3-2 over the last 15 minutes. Outswinging corner, and again, just off target. Dipped on time on the left foot. But there's been, for lack of a better term, a cylinder in front of the cage for UC Riverside. The runners will certainly be fortunate and happy if they can escape this first half with a tie score. Brought down by Rivera. Across midfield, shaded by Mahubi. Off the outside of the foot, here's Ramirez. Stephenson chips it across the field. A good switch to Marcano. Jacob Fitzgerald just checked in, the sophomore out of Yuma, Arizona, making a 16th appearance. Scored the first goal of his career against the University of Pacific. In fact, he played 7 minutes against the Highlanders in 2021, came off the bench in that contest. Walsh surveying. Off the outside to Cesar Oliveras, the freshman out of Delano, California, making his 9th appearance of the season, first in this one. Inside 3 to play.
Stay in there, Juan. Stay in there.
Now. Now. Come on, out there.
Wait, sit in the pocket.
Polo's gone. Got it.
You cross the line, Joel. Be ready. Move it.
Vukovic on the foot of Varila, the sophomore out of Sun Valley. Well-timed run. Here's Yamaguchi onside. Inside the 6, drives it low and shoots and scores. UCR grabs an early 1-0 lead. What a strike by the senior defender, Jada Yamaguchi, with his 6th goal of the season. And it's 1-0 to the Highlanders. Well-timed run off the left foot. And this time a fortuitous bounce. And the road team takes advantage as they breathe a desperate sigh of relief. Finally converting. The 20th goal scored on the season for UC Riverside. The 24th conceded by the runners in 2022.
Pressure starts up top.
Inside 2 minutes to go in the first half. I'd actually misspoken, as it was, in fact, Brendan Clark who scored the goal. Still his 6th goal of the season. Scored 2 goals against UCI. Still a 1-0 advantage for UC Riverside. Now the runners finally trailing for the first time today. Highlanders had just crept closer and closer each time.
Take care of the ball, White. Go keep the whip, yeah. Stay behind 14, make it defend you a little bit.
Come in.
Fitzgerald with a strong close.
Gotta step to the ball.
Brought down by Armandaris. Armandaris off the side of his foot. Ping pongs up. And controlled by Gonzalez. Again, the Highlanders just thankful. Expressing a little bit of gratitude that they're finally up 1-0. They had just continually applied pressure and chance after chance. Mahubi, Stephenson with 10 seconds remaining. I'll be onside opportunity, and Ramirez is called offside as the halftime buzzer sounds. So a 1-0 lead. Guess for Gonzalez, the halftime break didn't get enough water in, so taking a quick squirt. And away we go here in Bakersfield. Second half underway. Hernandez chipping it for the Highlanders, sporting their road whites. Runners in their home blues. Marcano plays it middle. Juan Pablo Alvarez will swing it. Bill Al-Mahubi, always a vertical threat for Coach Grant. Turning on the Jets, drives it low across and denied and knocked away by Alexander Vukovic. First corner kick pending for Cal State Bakersfield. A good sign for the runners to begin the second. Out swinging, there's a header on it, and it just whistles over the top post. Good chance for Cal State Bakersfield there. Shamai Kamara was streaking down the near post. He has scored on a header on a corner before. It came in the game winner against Gonzaga earlier in the year, a game that the runners ultimately held on to 1-0. Another notable sighting, Atlee Stephenson, the freshman out of Iceland, getting the start in the second half. He's been a real bright spot, not only off the bench, but even in the starting lineup for Coach Grant over the last couple of games. This snaps a 2-match starting streak for the freshman. Clark onside again, excellent first touch. He already has 1 goal, drives it in, and it's centered and tapped in for the second goal for UCR. This time, Alfonso Ramirez with his first career goal, and the Highlanders extend their lead 2-0. Well played ball in the center. Alfonso Ramirez was crashing the 6. Easy tap in, and a 2-0 advantage for the Highlanders on the road, in what now feels like a commanding 2-0 advantage. All that spearheaded again by Brendan Clark scored the first goal. Excellent first touch, crossed it in. Defense was exposed. Nothing Dodone could do. And there was actually a change in front of the net for Cal State Bakersfield. So that was scored not against Filippo Dodone. So now the runners facing a 2-0 deficit and an even further uphill battle with 42 minutes remaining. Reese. Ian Reese, the sophomore out of Napa, California. And by the way, just got word it was Damian Alguera, the freshman out of San Jose, getting the start in the second half. Third appearance for him this year, as Stephenson and Hernandez both gently pulled one another down. At least they were able to each brace each other's falls. The turn by Lukic with open room to operate. Up ahead, Rivera inside the 18. Charging back is Walsh to recover. Clark, one touch to himself, looking to create a little bit of separation. Played back. An empty trip for the Highlanders offensively, but they retained possession with a throw-in. That's been the difference between these two teams so far, is the patience being displayed by UC Riverside, making that extra pass, not necessarily taking the first shot, but waiting for the play, for the run to develop a little bit more thoroughly. As Rene Cortez will check in. Made his 10th start of the year, 16th appearance for the Runners. Strong switch by Armendariz. Kamara and Bilal Mahoubi trying to get back to that left foot. Now he does. Blowing past his defender. Mahoubi on the turn, pushed from behind, but no whistle. It was last deflected, though, out of play by the Highlanders defender, Joel Rivera, junior out of Wasco, California. Played just 24 minutes against Cal State Fullerton. It snapped a streak of 2 straight 90-minute matches for the junior. Another corner kick for the Runners. Armendariz put too much heat on it. Going the other way for a goal kick.
On that one, do also throw. Right? Don't in your face.
Yep. Don't need two in the wall. They're just going to serve it.
Temperatures dipping to the high 60s, now 67 degrees, the coldest environment that the Runners have played in this year, although the coaching staff has not been upset or disappointed by it. They've actually welcomed the official transition to the end of fall. Vukovic finds a man. It's Varila. Vukovic, of course, collected the assist on the first goal to Brendan Clark. And perhaps by the power of osmosis, Brendan Clark assisted Alfonso Ramirez for the second goal. Here's Ramirez on the turn. Plays it forward. Streaking down the corner. That's whipped in. A turn for Lukic. Lukic gives it a goal. Again, effort at least. It looked like it could have been. Alguera prevented the goal. Strong challenge won by Juan Pablo Alvarez. Center beautifully. Jimenez. Now Armendariz will switch. Mahubi with space. In the corner, Mahubi sizzles it, and it's deflected out of play for another corner. Runners just 2-5-1 here at the main soccer field. PA announcer imploring the team and the fan base to be a little bit more vocal. Free kick given to Cal State Bakersfield. Currently on a 4-game losing streak, the second time that they have matched that streak. They lost 4 straight to San Francisco, at Portland, Sacramento State, and Cal State Fullerton, conceding at least 2 goals in every match. There's Lukic on the counter. Sprays it out wide, an opportunity. Alfonso Ramirez tried to center it in. Alguera quickly gobbles it up. Another dangerous possession for UC Riverside. They've already scored 1 goal in the second half. And 10 minutes in, they were threatening for another. Another 50-51. Hernandez plays it back. It was an all Big West preseason selection was Leopoldo Hernandez. He's been the Highlanders' assist man this year, actually ranks 6th in Division I with 8 assists, and 25th the Division I level with about half assists per match. But he leads the Big West in both of those statistical categories. As Clark again with space, always a vertical threat. Clark leaves it for a trailer. Baptista too strong on the touch. Downing plays it forward. Cortez was backpedaling. You have to give Otley Stephenson a lot of credit. Just putting the referees and Bernie Hosu in a difficult spot every single time he's in or around the ball. A lot of action ensues. That's controlled. And Kamara unable to induce the whistle.
Stop
Omerson playing a little bully ball, trying to do it himself, and finally poked free by Walsh. Either side moving an inch in the last couple of possessions. Highlanders just 1-6-2 away from the UC Riverside Soccer Stadium. This is a team, of course, trying to make a late push and return back to the NCAA tournament for the first and only time since 2018. They lost in the first round at Pacific 1-0. Again, their record doesn't necessarily show it, but if they can win the Big West Conference, assuming they can qualify for it, they would receive an automatic berth, which is exactly the formula that they did in 2018. Clark keeps it in play, drifting towards the far post, and Kamara finally clears it. This is promising, whipped in on the foot of Stephenson. Cortez too strong on the switch. It's been that kind of evening for Cal State Bakersfield. 4 shots. Only one was really on target, although it wasn't officially recorded as such in the stats breakdown. Varela. Now Hernandez plays it forward. Joel Rivera onside, tracks it down, looking for the two-man game. Here's Clark. Clark spinning away from Jimenez, had his shot turned away. Here come the runners on the push. Mahubi, a strong touch to himself. Lacked a little bit of the vision. He had a couple players streaking down the middle if he kept his eyes up, as we're 15 minutes into the second half.
Inside out! Inside out! That's all right, yeah. That's all right.
Carlos Osorio, the senior out of San Jose, getting set to check in for Coach Capella. Runners have relied on some heroics defensively in front of the cage. Highlanders haven't needed to make any saves. That's chipped in, a good run, and snuffed out by Connor Walsh. Freshman is going to be an integral part of this team moving forward. Surprisingly for Connor Walsh, he only played 63 minutes in the Runners' last outing against UC Irvine. It snapped a 12-game streak of playing 90 full minutes as Jacob Fitzgerald, the sophomore, checks back in. 16th appearance for him. Hernandez takes a seat for the Highlanders. Fitzgerald on the push. Flares it wide. Marcano cannot track it down to keep it in play.
Coming on your right, coming on your right. Good.
Kamara with a box out as Issa Badawiya, pardon, getting set to check back in. He's had 4 consecutive games with at least 1 shot on goal, has Badawia. Nearly scored a goal tonight, which would have made it 3 goals in the last 4 matches. As Diago Baptista, the freshman out of Mountain View, will take a seat. Armendariz, Cortez sprinting and bolting forward. Kind of an untrained stallion at times is Rene Cortez, both a beautiful quality and also an area to improve upon. Being a little bit more selective about when to be aggressive, when to play a little recklessly, when to play with control. Still has a lot of growth left in him, but a tremendous player, redshirt sophomore. Olympian high school product, played 27 minutes as a starter against the Highlanders in 2021. And finally, an offsides flag will be waved. The back line holding up strong, holding high for Coach Grant.
Luca, just call back next time.
Another giveaway. Badawia, the touch, the turn. Lukic flips it forward. Badawia on a dead sprint, knocked away by Kamara. Shamai Kamara, the sophomore out of Phoenix, Arizona, leads the team in minutes played. In fact, 10 runners this year have played at least 1,000 minutes this season. Alfonso Ramirez was clipped in the ankle, so free kick awarded to UC Riverside. We'll see what set piece and pattern the Highlanders draw up here. This Highlanders team, of course, picked 4th in the 2022 preseason poll, which was the program's highest since 2018 when they won the Big West Championship. That's driven in towards the far post, streaking down, but unable to keep it in play was Adrian Meade Tatum. Couple substitutions. Victor Gadea and Andrew Nelson getting set to check in. Nelson, a sophomore, Gadea, junior. Clark and Rivera will take a seat. 20 minutes gone by in the second half. Still a 2-0 lead for UC Riverside. Juan Pablo Alvarez on the run. Jimenez is onside. Good first touch. Jimenez inside the 18, goes for a goal and lifts it a little too high.
Also, can't have you in, Josue low.
Another chance, but Jimenez arched the back a little bit too much. Just the 5th shot attempt for Cal State Bakersfield, 13 for UC Riverside. Part of what made this Cal State Bakersfield team so successful last season was the number of penalty shots that they were able to amass. In fact, in 2021, the Runners ranked 2nd in the Big West in penalty kick attempts and also penalty kick goals. But this season, prior to a recent outing against Cal State Northridge, they had been one of 4 teams that hadn't yet attempted a penalty kick. UC Riverside was another, of course, that snap streak tonight, as there's a strong header and a 2-handed diving stop by Alguera. Showing off the quickness Excellent cross, strong header by Lukic, and an incredible dive by Alguera to deny the third goal of the match. Look at the air time. 6-foot Alguera, the freshman of San Jose, California, with his third save. And a highlight-filled one, that is. Just his third appearance this season. In swinging towards the near corner and a strong header. Good elevation again, this time Mead Tatum, the sophomore out of Palos Verdes, California. Hasn't yet scored a goal. One time last year he received a Big West Freshman of the Week award. Played 10 minutes off the bench against the Runners, now making the start against CSU Bakersfield in 2022.
AJ, Coach Nelson to help you. AJ, Coach Nelson in front of you. Come on, get in line with AJ now. Get in line with AJ. Josue, lower! Josue, lower! Lower! Lower!
Runners, of course, playing tonight without the services of Bryson Hankins, sophomore out of Bakersfield. One of the usual mainstays anchoring the defensive line for the Runners. In fact, Hankins and Harry Downing, who is getting the start tonight, were the only two players to play the full 90 minutes against the Highlanders in 2021.
Good. Step and shake. Step and shake. Coming on your left. Also coming on your left.
You should win it.
Josue underneath you. Josue underneath you. Nelson, if Luka's facing you, stay underneath. Once he turns, you get beyond him. Good.
Downing on the back pedal, will loft it forward. Cortez was leveled as Alexander Vukovic climbed the ladder. Nearly hurdled him. The interesting thing about these two teams, and of course it applies not only to these two teams, but across the Division I level as Rene Cortez is taking his time to get up, is the amount of communication. How vocal both teams are, how vocal both coaching staffs are. You see, and you can hear at times if the crowd mic picks it up, just all the barking that goes around, not in a negative way, but it's really a universal theme across sports, but in particular soccer and a team sport, trying to get 11 guys organized. How much communication is required? That's bending and high pointing it nicely, Gonzalez. Armendariz was flashing as Vukovic took the brunt end of that. And actually crashed into his own goalkeeper, Gonzalez.
Let the ball circulate, Josue. Back to it.
That nearly got over the head of Downing, controlled off the chest, the flip to the center. Marcano quickly corrals.
AJ, if he comes underneath, you gotta pick him up.
Alguera drives it forward. That's a well-played ball up ahead for Mahubi, but poked free and booted for the clear. Walsh searching for it off the challenge, maneuvers his way through 2, now make it 3.
Nelson, drop in. Good, left shoulder, good.
Mahubi trying to spin free, still controlling it in the far flank until he dribbled it out of play. It's a little bit of the rawness for Bilal Mahubi, the sophomore out of Montreal, Quebec. He's now made it 7 straight games with at least 1 shot. He had 2 shots against UC Irvine. Again, a little bit unhinged at times, still needs to be reeled back. Play within the system, play within the structure and the confines of what the coaching staff at times is looking for. There have been too many instances of hero ball so far tonight for Cal State Bakersfield. That's an error getting past Walsh on side with the left foot and another individual stop by Alguera. Point blank opportunity for the Highlanders and they can't convert, and this remains a 2-score game. That time, Luka Lukic. Boy, the goalkeepers tonight for Cal State Bakersfield have been the life preservers as you take another look. No one back to defend. Alguera did a good job becoming big. Pretty much deploying the bear strategy. If a bear runs at you, you have to just spread your arms and be as big as you can. Flicked forward, 1 touch on the foot of Badawia. Here come the Highlanders on the counter. Nelson trying to shake off Marcano. Has an outlet in Meade Tatum. Noah Lopez, the sophomore out of Highland, California, getting set to check in. He's already scored 1 game-winning goal this season at UC San Diego. 4 goals, 4 assists on the year. Attempted 1 shot as a sub against the Runners in 2021. Osario. Kamara with the speed. The Runners have speedsters on this team if you can get them out in space. Here's Fitzgerald. Advancing up Marcano. And has his pocket picked. Highlanders have numbers if they can work the middle of the field quickly. Nelson. He's got an open teammate in Penate. Penate trying to dribble through traffic. Then Osario with the switch. On the left foot, that one will slice away. Approaching the final 15 minutes to go here at the main soccer field. Runners, do they have a run in them? Cesar Oliveras checking in for Juan Pablo Alvarez for Coach Grant's squad. Searching for some gas in the tank, some energy, perhaps in the reserves.
Take care of the winger. Forward.
Floated up.
Jason, lower.
Coach Grant, prior to this season, had led the Roadrunners to the postseason each of the past 7 seasons. This will unfortunately snap what's been an unblemished streak for the season coach. In fact, they reached the conference tournament 6 times, 3 semifinal appearances and a conference title. That came back in 2012. That was when they were part of the Western Athletic Conference, part of the WAC. 7 seasons, 2013 to 2019, before transitioning to the Big West. Free kick awarded to Cal State Bakersfield. There hasn't been a whole lot to extol on their end. It's been the Highlanders' show. There's Osorio.
Drop off. One more.
Now Varela. Motoring forward, Ramirez and Penate. Runners managed to nab it free. Well-timed run. Just a little too heavy on the touch intended for Oliveris, the freshman out of Delano, California. 9th appearance for him. Played a season-high 26 minutes at UC Davis. That's where he attempted his 2 shots and only shots of the season, including 1 on target.
Find a 6 line also. Find a 6 line. Again. Not in front of him, behind him. Ball. Now take that space. Hold play also. Take that space in front of you. Good. They can't come out.
Osorio. Flared out wide. One-timed, and ping-pong's out of play. Noah Lopez had an open look. The door closed quickly, and a corner kick for UC Riverside. Actually deflected off a Roadrunner. In swinging corner. Partially cleared by Marcano. Kamara took a little bit of a nasty spill battling with Tatum. On the turn, Varela will switch it. Highlanders doing a good job controlling the clock, controlling the midfield, especially that line of scrimmage. Downing chips it forward. It hit Cesar Oliveris' arm, so it's a free kick going to UC Riverside. Again, they will wrap up the rest of their regular season at home against UCSB and the Gauchos. Currently atop the Big West standings.
Drive it there. Float it. Turn!
10 minutes to play. Armendariz wins it back for the Runners. Got to make a push here. Have to take a couple more chances. They've been reluctant to do so. Again, the Highlanders have attempted 18 shots, just 5 for Cal State Bakersfield. Lopez was tripped up and fouled by Armendariz. Again, a huge match for UC Riverside and their playoff implications. Currently hanging on by a thread in the 5th spot. Although based on UC San Diego's win, that has dropped UC Riverside to a 6th place tie. As Osorio went tumbling down because it looked like perhaps Rene Cortez a little bit antsy on his run. But a loss tonight for UC Riverside, and now things get a lot more jumbled. But they're sitting pretty at the moment. Nelson trying to get back onto that left foot. Whips it in. Off the one hop, Aguera with the initial stop. On the rebound, another deflection. Some strong chances for UC Riverside. Trying to deliver the knockout blow with 8 minutes to play. The Hoobie was closing in. Rivera plays it out.
On the ground. Move on also. Next play. AJ, get your body right. Left shoulder.
Okay, move on. That's right. That's next.
There's Armandaris with space. Marcano inching forward. Now he'll cut it back, angling towards the middle. Whips it in off the back heel.
Hold the ball.
Another clear by the Highlanders defense.
All right. Take your time, Carlos.
Hey.
Battle through it, no?
Inside 7 minutes to go. UC Riverside and Cal State Bakersfield meeting for the 11th all-time meeting. The Runners are 3-1-2 against the Highlanders at home, but that record in danger of dropping. That ball gets over the head. Badawia, the one time, the patience, the shot deflected again by Alguera. He's had to be so active and alert tonight. This match could have really gone out of hand if it wasn't for the incredible goalkeeping of the Runners this evening. Badawia on the diagonal run. Nelson tracks it down in the corner. Leaves it off for a trailer. It's Noah Lopez. Osorio. Now the Highlanders just playing a little bit of keep away here in the closing minutes. Runners have to create a takeaway.
Keep the ball moving. Open it inside.
Approaching the final 5 minutes. Marcano snuffs that out. Here's Nathan Jimenez making his 7th start, 16th appearance for the Runners. On the run, Mahubi inching closer and cleared away. Brought down by Varela. Sophomore out of Sun Valley, played 14 minutes off the bench against the Runners in 2021. 9th appearance for him this season. Armendariz, Cortez, Jimenez on the overlap. Armendariz, is he onside? It'll stay onside, and it will stay in play. One time, and it'll flick over the post and over the goal completely.
Also, yeah.
Padilla and Penate checking out for UC Riverside. Runners, unfortunately, will miss the postseason for the first time since 2018. What a job that Coach Capello has done tonight in his 10th season as the head coach. Took over initially in an interim capacity. Been a pretty lopsided and dominant performance from start to finish for UC Riverside. They've outshot the Runners 21-5, including 8-0 on frame. They've hit the post twice. They've created a penalty shot. They weren't able to convert, but they've already scored twice. The Runners have relied on some heroics in front of the net to keep the score as is. They really struggled in tight games this season. Just 2-6-2 in games decided by 1 goal or less this year. But again, defense hasn't always been the problem. Offense has been the issue. They've managed just 3 goals in their last 11 outings, has Cal State Bakersfield. So while the mantra defense wins championships is accurate to some degree, need to be able to convert. Oliveris hasn't been waved off. He's onside. The southpaw chips it in. Cortez flying in with a header, unable to make contact with it. Elijah Espinoza, the junior out of Hesperia, California, checking in. 6th appearance, has made 1 start. Played 2 seasons at Taft College in 2019 and 2021. Making his first entrance onto the pitch tonight. They'll replace Freymar Omerson, 6'3" senior out of Iceland. So that'll snap 8 consecutive 90-minute matches for the senior. Instead, he has to settle for 87 minutes and 55 seconds. Inside 2 minutes to go.
Hey! Jason's there, Joel. You and Eli central. Joel, Jason's good. Stay with Eli. Stay with Eli. They can go back. Come on, West! Stay with it, Nels. Drop in. Drop in. Drop low also.
Kamara drives it low, intended for Oliveris. 1 back. Highlanders derailing every chance. Here's Lopez on side. Lopez corrals it, and another stop by Alguera. Little bit more protective window dressing defensively for Cal State Bakersfield. Lopez with another chance. Cannot stress it enough. The goalkeeping today for Cal State Bakersfield has been outstanding. The defense has had some cracks, has had a couple loose faucets here. But the goalkeepers have just been essentially the ultimate plumbers, just covering up nearly every mistake with the exception of 2.
Get ready.
Drop off, Eli. Drop off.
Final 30 seconds. Just as a friendly reminder, there will be a post-game interview coming up for Cal State Bakersfield upon the conclusion of this broadcast, as the Highlanders are just seconds away from improving to 5-7-4 overall, 4-2-2 in the Big West Conference as we're inside 10 to play, and they'll wrap up their regular season at home against UC Santa Barbara on the 29th. So a 2-0 victory